Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on EQUINOXE television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Bable Jonathan. Human Rights Watch tells the Cameroon government to stop torturing Cameroonians in prisons across the country. This is contained in the last report of the International Non-Governmental Organization on the situation in the Republic of Cameroon and in the crisis-hit southwest region of the country. Traditional rulers of the Fako division take to the streets denouncing an injunction by Southwest Governor Bena Okalia-Bilai urging them to take part in the May 20 National Day celebration. And Muslims in the Republic of Cameroon complain over increase in prices of basic commodities on the market as they begin the 2019 Ramadan month fasting today. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this edition of the Primetime News on EQUINOXE television. We begin with a news concerning the socio-political and security tensions in the Republic of Cameroon. Human Rights Watch urges the Cameroon government to investigate and torture or bring to book Cameroonian authorities who are involved in the torturing of several Cameroonians in different incarceration centers across the country. The non-governmental organization has told the Cameroon government to stop torturing prisoners, most of them arbitrarily arrested and detained, and the non-governmental organization has notably indicated that there are over 26 cases of incommunicado detentions in the Republic of Cameroon, and of course disappearance at the Secretary of State for Defense, or the Secretariat of State for Defense in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. That is between the period January 2018 and January 2019, and all this information contained in a report issued by Human Rights Watch, as Innocent as a report.
A latest report published by Human Rights Watch blames Cameroonian authorities for torturing and holding incommunicado some detainees in the Nkundengi Central Prison in Yaoundé and other detention facilities across Cameroon. It states in the report that gendarmes and other security forces at the State Defense Secretariat said have severely beaten and used near drowning to extract confessions from detainees suspected of ties to the armed separatist groups. Human Rights Watch documented 26 cases of incommunicado detention and enforced disappearance at the set detention sites between January 2018 and January 2019, including 14 cases of torture. The organization goes further to say the total numbers are likely much higher because abuses are committed in secret and many former detainees are reluctant to speak because they fear reprisals. Amongst those interviewed by Human Rights Watch include 3 former separatist fighters. The rest said they were civilians. 14 alleged physical abuses that amounted to torture, and 11 said they witnessed torture against other detainees and were threatened. 5 former detainees said their presence at sets was hidden from international monitors. In his report still, the treatment administered prisoners violates both Cameroonian law and international human rights law. Human Rights Watch says Cameroonian authorities have publicly asserted that unofficial detention and torture do not exist in Cameroon. It says the government did not reply to a letter from Human Rights Watch presenting findings and requesting a response to specific questions. The HRW urges governments to immediately stop the use of torture and other ill treatments at the set plus other detention facilities. Authorities of Cameroon have been called upon to promptly conduct credible investigations into all allegations of torture, cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatments at the sets and all other places, and infringe perpetrators. If not, the government should be punished by international partners in the light of support, training, and capacity building to institutions directly concerned in these human rights violations. HRW suggests the United Nations Security Council puts the situation of Cameroon on its agenda. Come May 13, 2019, condemn torture and incommunicado detention and press on government to end these practices. The organization had promised Cameroonian government it will continue publishing and documenting abuses and rights violations committed by Cameroon's defense and security forces in Anglophone Cameroon and other towns of the country.
And a top female politician in the Republic of Cameroon, Kabang Wala Edith, national president of the Cameroon People's Party, the CPP, also called on the international community to sanction Cameroonian government authorities over the worsening socio-political, security and humanitarian situation in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Take a listen to Kabang Wala Edith.
We have asked them to take sanctions against the individuals. There are individuals who are responsible for these atrocities and these violations in our country. They should see themselves suffering from a travel ban, from the freezing of their assets, from personalized queries to demand explanations from them why they gave these orders for these kinds of atrocities to be committed. And finally, we are asking for the international community that the government of Cameroon as a whole must be queried according to the treaties that we have signed, the international accords that we have signed. And this means going to various instances, including the Security Council of the United Nations, to demand for the rights of the Cameroonian citizen to be respected. We have put on the table political transition. This regime has failed woefully. It cannot solve these problems. Therefore, we are demanding today the departure of the regime. That is to be done by Cameroonians through non-violent demonstrations in mass. Then we will go to a national dialogue that will help us to discuss the Anglophone problem, but also many of the other problems that we are facing as a nation.
Kabang Wala Edith, national president of the Cameroon People's Party, the CPP, speaking there on the socio-political and security tensions in the Republic of Cameroon. And in the southwest regional chief town, Boya, Fako chiefs took to the streets earlier, that was last weekend, denouncing an injunction from Southwest Governor Benau Kaliabilai, who is compelling them to take part in the upcoming May 20 National Unity Day celebration or be dethroned. The chiefs said that was gross disrespect and a betrayal of the traditional rulers. And one of the chiefs in the Fako division spoke to our correspondent in the southwest region, Derek Jato. Take a listen.
You insulted us. How can you ask the chiefs to march with their subject behind? I've marched past today. I've passed through Bongo Square. I've done mine today, and our gods are also going to march. Please withdraw your statement. So Cameroon is going to be one and indivisible. I'll call for the head of state, His Excellency President Paul Biya, that please, we are behind you. But the statement made by the governor, please, it's a very bad statement. We have been fighting. We have been struggling. The proof is that the custom of the chiefs here in Fako, until one even died, Chief Banda. You people are guarded. You have military behind you. The chiefs, okay, you take the chief of Mapanja, the chief of Ekona Lelu, whose security is going to guard him. You are selling us to those guys. And you, as our son, Mr. Mayor, you are not far from the governor when he made that statement. You would have at least tell the governor that, sir, they are my chiefs. But you are happy to go and sit, big man, and see you are chiefs, your fathers marching. I have respect for you, and the respect should be reciprocal. It's from the bottom of the Fako people, from our hearts.
Coming up, Derek Jato reports that violations of human rights And of course, violence against women has been on the rise in the two Anglophone regions of the country since the crisis broke out or exploded in 2016. And it takes a look at efforts by some non-governmental organizations to curb the rate of violence against women, notably in the southwest region of the country. Derijato.
2 weeks after the latter mobilizing his party comrades detained in Yaoundé, the national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party this time around is addressing Cameroonians in general on some burning issues of national interest. Issues raised include pressure from the international community on matters related to the October 7, 2018 presidential election, the socio-political and security crisis in the two English-speaking regions, and the security crisis in the far north region of Cameroon. On the conflict in the northwest and southwest regions, Maurice Kamto said only an inclusive and genuine dialogue can pave a way out of the impasse. The CRM national president and legal mind continue to contest the outcome of the October 7, 2018 presidential polls declared by the Constitutional Council in Cameroon, few days to the celebration of national unity in a context marked by socio-economic hardship and multiple conflicts in diverse fronts. The CRM national president raised questions on the essence of national unity in Cameroon. In his letter, Maurice Kamto seemed surprised by the Twitter handle calls for patriotism of President Paul Biya. On the prohibition of activities of his political party, the national president called for a boycott of 20th May activities by CRM party supporters and sympathizers nationwide. Going through the 10-page letter of Maurice Kamto, the professor said it's been more than 3 months since his party supporters and sympathizers were arrested and detained in Yaoundé for denouncing electoral hold-up, poor management of the Anglophone crisis, and the embezzlement of public funds meant for AFCON 2019 project. With regard to his availability to dialogue with President Paul Biya, Maurice Kamto said he has never been approached for dialogue by President Paul Biya or anyone representing him, as propagated by those he called detractors.
That was rather for me, Armstrong Sander, reporting there on a letter written by the incarcerated national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM political party, Professor Maurice Kamto, on the current socio-political and security situation of the Republic of Cameroon. Now we come back to Aboya-based correspondent Derek Jato on the rising rate of violence against women, or better still, gender-based violence in the crisis-hit Anglophone regions of Cameroon.
Violence is never the answer.
Legal minds have advanced reasons why gender-based violence is still on the rise in Cameroon.
We have people who think that their customs are also wonderful. They carry out female genital mutilation on women. They send out girl children to go and get married before they even get to the age of 14. And all of those things are part of gender-based violence. But they do it in the name of custom.
Mboya Gladys is a queen mother and a barrister at law. She recounts how some elements of the forces of law and order are helping to keep this violence afloat.
All of us have had that experience. Even as a lawyer, following my clients to the gendarmerie post or the police brigade, we've had cases where a woman seriously battered by the husband is being told by the officer in charge that, no, he beat you because of so much love. I think they are doing that out of ignorance.
And survivors of gender-based violence are coming out for their voices to be heard and for their stories to be told.
And after then, I was like sabotage in front of the ceremony, my husband's burial ceremony. My in-laws, they took the microphones, they had to insult me. I was traumatized. I felt sick. I went to I was in the hospital. I was admitted in the hospital twice. And up till now,
campaigning against violence against women and girls NUCMEF and her co-implementing partners, FIDA and Voices of Women, are building a community-level agenda to end violence against women and girls in Cameroon. This 2017-2020 program is covering 6 regions of the country.
Enchaîne sur le papier indiquant directement. Muslim faithfuls in the Republic of Cameroon began the month-long Ramadan fasting today, and of course that is ahead of the feast of Ramadan. And the month of Ramadan fasting is part of the 5 pillars of Islam as prescribed by Allah. And during this period, Muslim faithfuls are expected to refrain from eating and drinking from sunrise to sunset while intensifying prayer and acts of charity. Ramadan is the 9th month on the Islamic calendar and is observed by Muslims worldwide, and the starting date of the Ramadan fasting period is slightly different each year depending on the position of the moon. And today was chosen as the first fasting day in Cameroon, Saudi Arabia, Algeria, Tunisia and Qatar. In Morocco, it is set to begin tomorrow. And in the Republic of Cameroon, Muslim faithfuls are complaining over the increase of prices of basic commodities on the market as they began the month-long fasting today. Manjikan Gabriel has more.
In one of the main markets in Garoua, Muslim faithfuls are buying foodstuff that will be necessary for them during this period of fasting. Though very busy, the buyers are complaining of price hike. Things are very expensive in relation to the foodstuff we shall need during this period, like fruits. All is expensive.
Tout est cher, mais on préfère quand même jeûner.
While some Muslim faithfuls complain of price increase in foodstuffs, others say the means is not first of all available to get these foodstuffs. Even though we don't have enough means to buy a bag of rice, we do with the little we have. With basic commodities already experiencing an increase in price during the fasting period, the leader of traders in the market took time off to sensitize business persons about price increase during this period of fasting. We try to sensitize the traders, particularly during this period, that they shouldn't increase prices. The fasting that started this Monday will run for a period of 30 days, during which Muslim faithfuls are expected to stay away from drinking, having sexual intercourse, and even smoking.
Talking Point is up next. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us in Talking Points. You are receiving a political analyst, Longla Blasius. You're welcome.
Thank you, Babla Jonathan. Thank you for inviting me.
You have been closely observing the recent developments in the country, notably with regards to the socio-political and security tensions in the northwest, in the southwest, as well as other parts of the country. And now international non-governmental organizations have been making reports on the situation, reports that are often rejected by Cameroonian authorities. And the last one came from Human Rights Watch, talking about incommunicado detention, arbitrary detention of persons, and torture of Cameroonians in prisons. How do you analyze this?
It's a pity. It's a pity that Cameroon government up to today they are not still understanding or accepting what is happening in Cameroon. But what is happening in Cameroon is something that will really bring down, like one politician said long ago, that what is happening in Cameroon will bring down Cameroon, and that is actually what is happening. If we can see that the international communities, they are entering into the situation, some people will be crying and said, because the human right, that United Nations Human Rights Commissioner is in Cameroon, he left Cameroon a few days ago, and he came and some people are asking questions. Why was she not why did she not go and visit the two regions? There are ways that people developed countries, they handle situations. I always call it I put it in the sense that United Nations handle situations the way God handle things. God handle things gradually. United Nations is just an organization, or we say an individual that we can just call and say something has happened. We call and the person automatically runs to the field and go and take action. But United Nations takes its time because it's an organization that brought in many countries. So we cannot just accept or take them to be a group or an organization that when something is happening in Cameroon, we just call them and immediately we are trying or waiting to welcome and immediate actions. No, when you see some international like Human Rights Watch, what they just wrote, and others international bodies that are coming up, it means Cameroon, and it means the crisis will come to an end very soon.
The crisis will come to an end very soon.
Very soon.
But that's difficult to believe for some analysts, some critics who are looking at the situation on the ground and government response, military action on the ground that has continued to worsen the situation for close to 3 years today. So how can we be looking at this situation on the ground and concluding? What makes you conclude that it's going to come to an end very soon?
Yeah, before today, the thing started in 2016, and the way the international community, it was like they was giving a deaf ear to what is happening in southern Cameroon. But if we are really following up what is happening now in the world, it's like a week cannot pass or 2 or 3 days without you hearing of one international communities or international bodies coming in or crying that something is happening in Cameroon, we should take action, or we should send word to the United Nations for them to take action. Everywhere, that's in even UN, AU, I beg your pardon, AU is still in, they are still planning to take their own action, though some of us are calling AU as tubeless border because they have not been reacting the way some of us Africans were planning or were thinking of them to react as far as this crisis is concerned. But if you watch very well closely, you will discover that so many international bodies, so many international communities, countries, Europe's, Africans, and even Americans, they are too much concerned in what is happening in Cameroon.
Do you foresee international intervention in Cameroon anytime soon? When you look at the reactions coming from these international non-governmental organizations and, of course, the Western countries?
Actually, Babila Jonathan, I will say it clean and clear that I am foreseeing fast action to happen in Cameroon as soon as possible. As soon as possible, because
fast action by who?
Fast action by the international community, the international bodies. The United States or United Nations, they are not like some of us Africans. They cannot spend money to send good number of diplomats, good number of high-ranking personnel to come to Cameroon just for fancies, or to come to Cameroon just to come and receive what President Paul Biya is always giving them, like gold at the presidency or whatever. That some of our ministers, they always put money in their bags when a high personality comes to them, they will just flush his account with money. But some of these people are people, before they put into the position they are today, they have served their nations. They have served a lot of people, and they are people of high credibility.
Do you think that the solution to the Anglophone crisis can come from outside?
Yeah, actually, I know it very well that it can come from outside.
All right, let's talk about national unity. In some few days from now, Cameroon will be celebrating the May 20 National Unity Day. What's your take about the state of the country's unity today?
Celebrating National Unity Day. Celebration is something that we're supposed to be happy. And the question is, are we happy? Are Cameroonians happy? Why are we celebrating National Unity Day? This is a day that two nations came together. That's two people came together to become one. Are they one today? No. It is some people are really taking it as if it was two people that came together for one to be the master of other. That's one is serving as a servant and one is the master. Some of us, the Anglophones.
Who is the servant? Who is the master?
Anglophones are servants to the Francophones. That is very clear. And if you go into the hierarchies in Cameroon, when they came together, they say, okay, if one can be the head, the assistant automatically will be the Anglophone or will be the Francophone if the Anglophone is the head. But that's not what is happening in Cameroon. Take, for example, the President of the Republic. Who is an Anglophone? Where is the Anglophone position in Cameroon? We can talk of fit or seat position in Cameroon as the Prime Minister, because if the President give up today, who will be the person that they will listen to? Is the Speaker of the House, is the Senate, the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, I think,
the Constitutional Council is coming up, and so on and so forth. So where is the place of the Anglophone? That is why I said we are not. Some people are even saying that Anglophones are second-class citizens, but I don't call Anglophones as second-class citizens. I put us Anglophone because I'm an Anglophone. I'm from Bamenda, and put us Anglophone as servant to Francophones. Which shouldn't be the case.
Which shouldn't be the case.
And so when you look at what is happening today in the northwest and in the southwest regions of the country, and what is happening even in other parts of the country, and our government authorities have continued maintaining that Cameroon is one and indivisible. What do you think about this?
Cameroon is one and indivisible if Cameroon was one country for the creation. But for the creation, Cameroon was not one. It was two things that came together. It's like when you put oil on the water, they are together, but you can still separate them. You can still remove that oil on top of that water. So if we are not careful, I'm not praying that Cameroon should divide, but if we are not careful, something dangerous might happen that Cameroon can split. That Cameroon can split into two, and the other section will have their own country, and the other one will have their own country.
All right,
but we are not praying for that. We are praying that unity should be among us. The unity that we are preaching, the unity that we want to celebrate as the 20th May, it should be something that we practice and put on the field. And we should not only be saying it.
And concerning the National Day celebration, you heard one of the funds of the Southwest region, notably the FACO division, complaining and hitting back at the Southwest Governor Kalia Bilai over an injunction compelling them to take part in the May 20 National Day celebration. What can you say about such an injunction in this context of socio-political tensions?
Yeah, Babila Jonathan, I will come back again to say that we are slaves to the Francophones. Slaves to the Francophones because if you look at what is happening in the Northwest and Southwest, I will ask Governor Okalia Bilai that if he was in his place or in a governor in his own region, would he have asked his own chief that he should carry on people to the roadside? No. Can we sit today and ask Sultan Joya to go out with his people? No. Can we sit today and ask the chiefs in Douala that they should go out on the street and march with their people? No. Can we sit today and ask even the what they call in the far north there, the Lamidus, to go out with their own people? No. So why are we? That's the reason why I still come back on my point to say Francophones are taking Anglophones as slaves, which is not what it's supposed to be.
Before we go, what should be done?
I always give my own proposal, and my own proposal, yes, it will link to others. Others always propose that they should, for concerning the Anglophone crisis, that they should demilitarize the Anglophone zone. They should remove or release all those that are in prison or in prison custody. But there is one thing that I will add on it, which I always say, which is, if Francophones love Anglophones as their own brothers.
It's not a problem of Francophones and Anglophones. This should be very clear. It's a problem concerning the Anglophone community who have been crying out against marginalization and so on and so forth.
If we believe that we are one, And if we are one, that is two, because I even heard of the commission of Peter Mafani Musonge trying to ban the words Anglophone and Francophone, which can never happen. If we believe that we are one, for the Francophones people, knowing, crying, or seeing what is happening with their own Anglophones brothers, I always propose this. It takes them just 1 or 2 days to make national lockdown, and the President of the Republic will come down to the field and solve the problem. Because the solution of the problem lies in his hand.
Thanks, Longla Blasius, political analyst. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Babila Jonathan.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today.